have a son who is 28 years old, and he's a grown man, but he's still my child. And I still, want him to pull his collar up or tie his shoes, So you never stop being a parent, and it's such a rewarding and fulfilling aspect of life.
You get all these little gems that happen, Parenting is tough, there's no question about it, and it can be difficult and life-changing, but there are these gems, there are these rewards, there are these jewels that you receive from being a responsible parent that are incomparable.
Growing up with my father, he was always there for me. He always mentored me. He's been sort of training me for the position that I'm in since I was a child. He's always put a really big emphasis on education and just being a good member of our community. I've always had somebody to sort of guide me that's already been through certain trials and tribulations. I feel like the advantage that I've had, he's just always been there for me. He's always taught me that if I want to be successful, these are the steps that I need to take. So it was really just my decision on if I would like to follow the steps that he allowed me to take.
So I get a lot of what I have as a father and being a father figure from my granddad and my father, who were workaholics, and they provided very well. Definitely watching him and my dad and watching the men around me, Uncle John L., John Lewis, father, my cousin, watching them overcome certain obstacles and challenges, having that as an example of what to have that stick-to-itiveness and to keep pushing regardless. And the world is going to throw you many obstacles, many diversions or whatever. If you have a strong family unit, I'm a true believer that strong family unit is what will push you through and drive you through.
The frequency level between a son and a father, even for a father and a daughter, is totally different than the frequency of a mother to a son and a mother to a daughter. And that frequency that child needs. When I say something to my son, he absolutely moves faster or differently than he does if his mother or another woman talks to him. It's because it's just that kind of frequency level between men. And so he has to be able to see me be respectful to other women, be respectful to myself as an example for himself. And so for fathers today, that's where it comes in. That's where the rubber meets the road. Can your child see you exemplifying good manhood?
Growing up, no matter what my dad did, I always thought it was really cool, and I always wanted to be like him. So when I was younger, his first business endeavor were group homes. So I thought group homes were the coolest thing ever. I thought, I want to take over the group homes one day. I want to run the group homes. I want to do whatever he's doing.
I admired him, I think, mostly for my business abilities and the things, because he was that businessman in Lumberton, North Carolina. He owned that two-pump gas station and grocery store, and us coming from the city, or as kids going to North Carolina and seeing the big sign on top of the VD, Vadell, Clark and Son grocery store. It was big for us. We're the big family, and so watching him interact with all of the different people who were in position to run things, the white white people who were running the town and in control of everything, watching him have the ability during that time when it was hard for a black man to really maintain his goals, his stability, his whatever, to see him do that, I think I got a lot from that.
Keeps me safe, make sure I have great school, make sure I have just great things. I can't really explain it because it's not explainable.
Each child that you have created, reared, and are nurturing, they're their own individual. They're going to make their own decisions. and you can push as you may, but they're still their own person. And it goes a long way to accept who they are and try to nurture their altruistic, their intrinsic, their extrinsic type of goals. But in doing so, they often surprise you, because whatever they dream of, especially the Gen Zers, the youngest generation, they always surprise you and they make you smile.
My most defining moment as a stepfather came to me when I by default took on a role as stepfather with a girlfriend that was a single parent, and she had a daughter that came to trust me as a parent. So I took that responsibility to heart. When I gained her trust and approval, she had no label for me. In other words, she did not know the word father. So do you know what she called me? She called me mommy. Tough moment to realize that a child did not know the word for father, did not know the word daddy at all. So that's why I say stepfathers are so important right now, because in our society, men have the option sometimes to say, I'm not going to be a parent, and walk away. That results in children who are fatherless. And stepfathers got to step in. Somebody has to take responsibility and help the children.
I think personally, the greatest responsibility that the Creator can give any other human being is raising another human being. Because the Creator created us. So if He saw in you as a mother or me as a father that the ability to raise another human being, to me that's the ultimate thing.
As God leads us in our life, we recognize what becomes important, and more importantly than that, this is my legacy. My children are my legacy, not my job, not my title, not all the accolades that I did, but what kind of man does he become carrying my name and carrying my spirit? Is God pleased with what I'm doing with him? That's what's important.
Just anytime he has, even if it's a minute, 5 minutes, seconds, it's always something that he does with me that just changes everything. So it's like everything I do is helping him, and I know he's gonna, when he helps me, I'm helping him in the future.
I'm a bit of a nerd. I read everything, always have. So in becoming a parent, some of that bled off of me and on to my stepdaughter. And I had to help my stepdaughter with her school science project. DC's not a state. If DC were a state, she would have taken first place in a state competition. So she took first place in the DC science, the school science project, and that was my main accomplishment.
But the most gratifying moments, there's been so many, but recently my daughter finishing her master's in public health, very, very important to me. My son starting his MBA and nearly finishing his MBA. And of course, my youngest daughter who just graduated high school.
Being present in the time, in the moment, is what works well for our children in terms of their progression, in terms of their discipline, in terms of them being able to understand responsibility. And so for me, as a black man, and others who are black men, you have to be present in that child's life, whatever way you can. Or if you have to fight to be into that child's life, you need to do that.
Love your children, be in their lives, and just take responsibility in who you create and how you nurture them.
And hang in there. Just be there and hang in there. It can be tough, but we're used to tough. It's also very rewarding, so just be there